Hi everyone, it's Miss Terry and I'm here today to share with you my February picks for fiction for students in grades 5 through 6. The first one I'm going to share is called The Lock Eater, and this is a fantasy story that takes place in an empire that watches over its witches and wizards and kind of regulates the kind of magic that they can do, and it's all to keep them safe from a coven called the Lay Coven, which is kind of an evil group that really is always trying to grab power and to take over the empire. And this story focuses particularly on an orphan girl whose name is Melanie. And Melanie lives at Mary Trails Orphanage, run by a very sweet woman who really takes care of the kids. But there's a very obnoxious cat that can talk to the students, and he provides a lot of the humor of this story. But Melanie has a specific gift in that she is able to open any door, any lock. Nothing really can keep her out of anything. And one day a sentient robot comes to the orphanage looking for somebody to be a witch's apprentice. And of course he chooses Melanie. And it's not just to be an apprentice, it's actually to help the robot not let anybody know that he's actually sentient. And so Melanie decides to help this robot to get out of the orphanage and hopefully find a family, all while trying to defeat the evil that's leaking into the empire. This is called The Lock Eater. Nightingale is a story about a magic sword, a very eager sword that actually kind of has the personality of a dog, and it is this sword that kind of leads the story, and it ends up choosing a young girl named Lark, who really is a thief, and she accidentally stumbles upon this sword that used to belong to a hero called the Nightingale that would always try to defeat some of the evil in their world. And unbeknownst to Lark, the sword has now chosen her to take up this lost hero's place, and she's set upon a quest to defeat the Crimson Knight, who is really causing a lot of problems. So that's called The Nightingale. Away from fantasy for a moment, this one is Cat versus Dog. Cat Loves Dog, by James Patterson. It is the second in the Cat versus Dog. And this is about two, not really friends, I'm not gonna say friends, but Oscar the dog and Molly the cat, and they are off camping with their families at a specific camp for cats and dogs that there's very strict rules. You're not supposed to, intermix. You're supposed to stay on your side of the camp. Well, unfortunately, Molly and Oscar's cousins have run off together, and they aren't really sure why, but Oscar and Molly are going to try to track them down before they get caught by the camp's overseers and possibly punished for going off together. So if you like animal stories, you'll enjoy this. If you like James Patterson, you'll definitely enjoy the humor of this story as the cats and dogs go at it again. Long Lost is a little bit in the horror genre, and this is a story about a girl named Fiona, and her family has just moved to Lost Lake, and that's because her older sister Arden is an ice skater, and the ice rink that she practices at is in the Lost Lake. And Fiona's not happy about this. She doesn't really feel like it's fair that her whole family has had to kind of give up their life for her sister. And she ends up retreating to the library that, in this town that's kind of in this old-fashioned house. And she comes across a book called The Long Lost. And as she's reading it, it's about two sisters that almost seem very similar to her and her own sister. And that's when strange things start to happen. The book kind of disappears off and on, and nobody really believes her that she's found this story, but she realizes in the story when one of the sisters goes missing that something dark is coming her and her sister's way, and she needs to solve the mystery of what is happening. Again, this is a little bit on the spooky side. Not only is the library kind of in a creepy mansion, but the story itself has quite a few supernatural elements to it. Next, we have How to